Welcome to LexTalk, World Talk Show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today we have Mr. Kunal Chatterji with us. Kunal started his practice as an advocate in the High Court at Calcutta in April 2005 in the original and appellate side, and then shifted to Delhi to practice before the Supreme Court of India, Delhi High Court, and various other tribunals in August 2007. Kunal has handled several matters on domestic and international arbitrations, including a civil dispute involving inheritance matters, tenancy matters, commercial litigation, including insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings. I can go on and on when it comes to the kind of matters that Mr. Chatterjee has handled in the career span of over 17 years. So without any further ado, let me just introduce you to the man himself. Hello, Kunal, how
Yeah,
are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am absolutely amazing. We are thrilled to have you with us today. Before we dive deeper into the other, trending topics and we discuss them, I would really love it if you can also discuss about or maybe, throw light on your journey as a legal professional so far.
The journey that I started, it's in 2005 as a professional. Before that, I was a student. It was a little difficult journey to start with because in 2005, when we were passing out and the friends were all sitting in the campus recruitment and all, I decided to join the litigation. And so when they were leaving the university, though they had a job in their hand, but I was amongst few who had uh, decided to do litigation and had nothing in our hand. So after I completed, then I joined the chamber in Kolkata. And yeah, I'm a first generation lawyer in that sense. So, you know, the difficulty that a first generation lawyer normally face, both in terms of infrastructure and in terms of the mindset. Now, normally, a first generation lawyer do not have that infrastructure which a second or third generation lawyer will have with them readily available. Because 2005, even though had seen the advent of this digitization and all, but it was not so popular. Even our judges were not, at least for Calcutta High Court, we have seen that the judges were not so much tech savvy or user friendly with the digital database and all. So initially, when some of them had seen me doing this digital research,
Mm-hmm.
they
Right.
used to laugh at me. We My senior said that time that they are laughing at me means they are taking you seriously. So uh, keep doing your thing.
Right, right.
And I continued with it.
Yeah.
In fact, that was a time I remember very few advocates in the High Court used to draft their petition on their own. Mostly they used to have their steno to type it out. So for a person who knew this digital database and all to some extent, it was a bit awkward. But with the chamber that I was working, I had the privilege of or option, occasion, everything, whatever you say, to use these facilities and do it. I started doing it, things started working it out, but then I felt that it's better that I move on to my ultimate aim. That's moving on to Delhi, which I initially wanted before 2005 to start with, but I was at that stage advised that I should start in High Court. So then in 2007, I shifted both for the aim and the way things had unfolded. Since then, it's a gradual process. There have been problems there, initially, even in Supreme Court, when some senior members had seen that I'm getting matters. They started ridiculing also. And as I was kind of aware of these things in the High Court, so I continued with my objective. There was no problem. In after a few years, it became kind of normal. More so after I cleared my advocate and record examination. That was kind of a turning point. After which, it was a different ballgame. And now, in 2010, when we became advocate on record, we had altogether around 1800, 1850 advocate on records on their rolls since 1950. So for 60 years, we had less than 2000. But presently, we have, in last 10 years, they have added around 1100 more. So now, that time, I was the youngest one who had cleared it, because my date of enrollment was 30th April and 29th April, and the cutoff date for your examination is 30th April. So I just could make it in a day. Otherwise, I would have sat for the examination after a year. So now now the Supreme Court practice has also changed over last 10 years. It's mostly now the advocate on records who are dominating with the senior advocates, and the other breeds of lawyer, non-advocate on records and other, they are also there. But we can understand now how things are changing.
Absolutely, Mr. Chatterjee. So, so you're obviously, as you were discussing that being a first generation lawyer, uh, you have faced a lot of challenges also. And not only that, but there were other things as well, which were kind of, an obstruction. So, in your 17 years of career, if you can throw light on more challenges that you faced, but now you are actually on a really in a really good place, and in a really good.
I can't say that it's a really good place, because every brief is a unique one. And i- if I'm not able to do anything today, then there is no difference for me to comparing today and 17 years back.
Right.
Either I deliver it or I perish, perform or perish, which is what I think now in Supreme Court things are going. So let's see how things go on in future. We can't say anything for tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Chatterjee. So now, as you have an amazing amount of experience in the legal space, you have kind of seen both the worlds. I mean, and in 2 years, a lot has changed thanks to pandemic. So when you see, there are remote proceedings, do you think like this is like sustainable and a possible way?
See this when this present virtual hearing platform was made available to us, I think it was one of the most crucial invention that human civilization has got now. Because I can say that on the date when we broke for holy vacation, which was 6th of March 2020, we had no idea how this COVID is going to affect. We were joking around. 13th, we realized that the judges are taking things seriously. They are discussing some limited hearing happening. We had no idea how this limited hearing will be possible. Uh, so, but after the holy vacation, we came back. court started happening physically in a regulated manner, where they used to check our names and allow us entry. Then one day lockdown, 24th March, complete lockdown and all came. We had no idea. There were different news reports which were saying that the COVID will die down in 49 days time. Somebody was saying it will die down in 15 days time. Somebody was saying Mahabharat happened for 18 days and we will defeat COVID in 15 days.
Right.
Nothing of this sort happened.
All sorts of things would.
All sorts of things were said to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, then when the lockdown were partially lifted, one of my matter came out for delivery of judgment. It was an excise matter, and we all locked in enthusiastically that what is this virtual platform happening? And we all kind of like, why are we being kept muted? How to unmute us? We were kind of struggling on that day.
Right.
Even judges were doing it from their house in a manner we were hardly able to hear them.
Okay.
But slowly and gradually, they have also started using proper technology. We have also learned to some extent how to address the court during this video hearing, when we have to keep things muted, when not muted, how we come and focus. Uh, so I think it's a remarkable thing in a way. Many persons who, mostly the women, as Justice Chandrachura said, are going to benefit out of it, because this virtual hearing, if continued, they will be able to manage their work in very crucial natural breaks that normally they get, which is a very big stumbling block for them to join in this profession.
That's, I guess, exactly everybody was facing. I mean, of course, the situations were different, but it was a completely, I mean, it was a drastic change,
Yeah,
and everybody was taken aback. Like, we never imagined that, especially when it comes to the legal space, like judgments can be passed virtually, and it was a big deal. So,
then
do you
then then we did big hearings in virtual
right?
platforms. Full day hearing. There was one matter where we have used almost 230 volumes of papers.
Okay. Oh
It
my.
happened. It happened. We have to change our mindset. It's all possible.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
conferencing, conferencing virtually, I think, is going to stay forever now. Why should the client unnecessarily spend money and travel to Delhi unless he's been summoned by the court?
That's true too. That's true too.
They can compensate us extra for that purpose.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Chatterjee. So, do you feel that like adopting this virtual platform, access to justice can be made available to citizens like in a better way? As in, like, is there like a tangible movement in closing the justice gap by adopting this virtual
Definitely,
platform?
definitely, definitely. Now, see, it also requires some amendment now in some statutes. I'll take one example. Family Courts Act requires mediation happening physically. That's why there was a judgment in 2018 by Supreme Court of India, wherein majority judges have held that physical virtual hearing cannot be directed in family matters, personal matters. But during this time, we have done n number of matters virtually, maintaining confidentiality and other things. There is no problem for that. Maybe some technological improvement is necessary. Otherwise, you have to amend some of the statutes allow these things to grow. Otherwise, it will, to some extent, it will remain illegal.
Thank you so much for answering that question, Mr. Chatterjee. Um, Now, we've talked about the pandemic. We have talked about the access to justice, of course. Now,
I'll tell you, one of my very good friend,
mhm,
he is now practicing from Andaman,
okay,
which is not in the mainland of India.
right.
Because of this virtual hearing,
Mhm.
he is able to appear in Supreme Court of India. Otherwise, he needs 5 days for one matter to do in Supreme Court because there's no direct flight now.
Wow.
So imagine the clients, they can engage him, interact with him, he can appear virtually. He doesn't have to waste his time. So things are definitely, it has brought things to a doorstep.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chatterjee. Now, as I was saying, that I mean, mostly it has been, of course, like a boon. It's a blessing in disguise.
Definitely.
And I'm sure it has a lot of pros. Of course, we can kind of ignore the cons for now, since the health is the priority because of the pandemic and everything. So of course we'll have to accept it the way it is. uh, Now, what do you think like is the most important for like a litigating advocate? What's like the most thing that you would suggest, or tips or advice that you would like to give for a successful career?
Patience and sincerity. These two things.
And
If you,
some,
it's like a test match which
right,
doesn't end in 5 days time. So if
yes.
you are a T20 player,
Mhm.
this is not the profession for you.
Some people say in litigation, when one requires to earn more, compensation is not so much.
Yeah,
But when like one does not need a huge income, the profession gives enough surplus to them. Like, do you agree with this, or
absolutely,
presently there's a
absolutely,
change?
absolutely. When we started our practice in High Court, uh, my contemporaries were charging 85 rupees, 5 GM. Some of us were charging 170 rupees. That was the fee. Even if you do 20 matters a month, how much amount will you earn? And you have expenditure also. But gradually with progression, the fee structure gets revised, your appearance gets increased, and also there is a exponential income increase. So that way, I would say that what you have said is absolutely right, and that's why I said that you have to be patient. You have to admire to somebody like Rahul Dravid. Just keep sticking to your work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I guess, and this goes for every profession, that if you're not passionate enough for something, that the
I have seen most of the persons who are leaving litigation are those who had joined the litigation as their last resort by after not getting employment or anything. I haven't seen a single person who had taken a positive decision to join litigation and has remained unsuccessful. It is just impossible. If you love this profession, the profession will give you much more than your love. But if you think that I'm joining because I'm not having a corporate job or a law firm job, let me keep things in my CV, then A, compensation wise, it's not so. B, you will not be you will not be able to have that passion, as you said rightly. And eventually 6 months to a year, may maximum 2 year, you will find yourself out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chatterjee, for answering that question. There's one very, I'll not say that I am saying this because I'm not, but what do you think? Because this is like a very controversial topic. So you can choose not to answer it also, that's absolutely okay. What do you think is like the main reason for the profession not being able to attract like the most intelligent brains? And there's like a trend to join corporate jobs, and also if you can let us know that how do you think that we can solve such problems?
You know, before 89, there was no law school in this country. That time, people used to join litigation. Those who used to fail in the litigation used to go in a corporate work or solicitor work that time, which is now we call law firm work. But now that we have at least one law school in each state, some states have 3 kind of law schools and all. And there is exams like CLAT, NLS, CLAT, and all this are there in NLU Delhi CLAT, NLU Delhi Law Entrance Examination, whatever is their nomenclature. They are actually attracting brains, intelligent, if not more than what we generally get in IIT. And that is what actually was Professor Menon's view. When I had my first interaction with him in 2000, he had said that my object is to have the best brains. He is successful to that extent, but most of the persons who are joining in this law schools and all, they are coming from a middle class background where they are mostly taking education loan and all to continue their study. Annually, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs rupees, some places 7 lakhs is actually a huge amount. Now, 5 years, it's 10 lakhs only to the university or law schools, plus additional. So roughly 15 to 20 lakhs each person is presently spending. Now, after taking a loan of say 15 lakh or 20 lakhs, if you expect them to start with 85 rupees or some place it's a small token returnership, then this is not going to succeed. To my mind, I think the Bar Council has to use its good office, bring out a scale for the juniors, which the advocates will be under legal obligation to pay. If you go to district courts, what I said is for High Court, Supreme Court. If you go to district court, even a senior advocate normally charges 500 rupees to 1000 rupees. The juniors, if they get 100 rupees, they travel in a luxury. So you can very well imagine, unless we can strengthen our district justice delivery system, it won't improve. The system won't improve. So we actually have to introduce a system by which from district court there is a pay scale, there is a qualification to join High Court, there is a qualification to join Supreme Court, and so on. So like some foreign countries, the best of the brains work in trial. And what are we seeing? We are seeing that the brain drain is happening to Supreme Court and High Court. So these things have to be balanced in a manner. Bar Council has to bring about these things. B, we have to mandatorily ask these people, the juniors, to join the district court first. And then we have to balance that with their expenditure that they're incurring. We can't afford to say that we are only giving you a cooling off period of say 5 year or 10 year. Thereafter, you have to pay. A junior may not be in a position to do that. So what will he do? He will leave after a few years, looking at his progress.
Right.
That's what is happening. So that's what need be worked out now. We think it's high time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chatterjee. I mean, this conversation has been really, really insightful. Also, we talked about things which are kind of very important to talk about. Usually, people don't talk about all these things. They don't come up with their views on this. But thank you so much.
No, I have no problem giving my views on this, because I expect the Bar Council to function in a manner which some of the foreign regulators do,
Right.
for the benefit of its member and not for just electoral gain.
Absolutely. This is why this interview has been really insightful. Thank you so much, Mr. Chatterjee, for answering all the questions so beautifully. Sadly, we have come to an end of this amazing conversation, but I'm really looking forward to some more, chats like these on some other training topics in the legal space as well. For our viewers, if you like this chat with Mr. Chatterjee, please like and share this video. And do not forget to subscribe to ClickAway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming from industry legal leaders like Mr. Chatterjee himself. Thank you so much, Mr. Chatterjee. It was a pleasure.
Bye.
This is Bharti for LexTalk signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.